Hi, my name is Leslie Kendall. I am the Chief Historian of the Petersen Automotive Museum, and welcome to another edition of Million Dollar Cars. Now, while this may not be a $1 million car yet, it certainly soon will be, because this is one of the very, very rare Porsche 901s that were built in 1964. This car, the 901, it was supposed to replace the 356 Porsche. The 356 by the early 1960s was getting a little bit long in tooth. It was starting to show its age. And Porsche thought, you know what, we really need something to up our game. We have to stay competitive. We need to stay in the limelight. So having built the 356 since about 1948 to the mid-60s, Porsche said, you know what, let's do this. Let's completely throw away the four-cylinder engine idea, make it a six-cylinder engine, make it 2 liters, make it a lot sleeker, a little bit lower, a little bit sharper looking, not quite as round. And they hit on something that has resounded with the public ever since. Now, the 901 immediately ran into problems when Peugeot claimed ownership of every 3-digit model designation with 0 as the middle number. Peugeot, of course, had 604, 303, something, oh something. And they kind of wagged their finger at Porsche and said, you know what, you can't use the 901 as much as you'd like to because we own those designations. So Porsche said, you know what, you're a lot bigger than us, at least for now. We're not going to argue with you. We'll call it the 911. And 911 is kind of an interesting choice because it even back in the day, it conjured kind of an emergency, kind of a sense of urgency, kind of something serious. And this is a very serious car for the road in its day. It had better road holding than the 356 that it replaced, and it was a lot of car for what you spent on it. What distinguishes the 901 visibly from a 911 are the details. You open up the engine hood, for example, and you see the stickers are different. There might be different components in the engine. On the inside, things are in little different places. Maybe one of the knobs is designed a little bit differently. You open up the trunk, which is in the front, and things aren't quite where you would expect them to be on a 911. All of those distinguishing features help make the Porsche 901 what it is. A kind of pilot production car, not really a prototype because they got it right, almost right out from the beginning, but certainly a pilot production car, the kind of car that they wanted to whet the public's appetite with. And indeed, they did that at the 1963 Frankfurt Auto Show when this debuted. Now, Porsche had an awful lot at stake. Their entire reputation was based on the 356, and there was a lot that they had to live up to. If they were going to bring out a car that was going to be different, better, an improvement over the 356. One thing that the 901/911 had to do was accommodate more passengers. And Porsche did that by including a couple of occasional seats in the rear that could accommodate children very, very easily and a couple of adults in an emergency. It was re-engineered from the bottom up, but of course, being a Porsche, it retained the rear engine, air-cooled configuration of its predecessor. Now, you might think that why would you want an air-cooled engine? That doesn't seem very efficient. You need a tremendous volume of air compared to the volume of water that you would need in a water-cooled engine. Well, keep in mind that Porsche wanted to simplify things. With Ferdinand Porsche and Ferdi Porsche, later it was simplify. If you don't need it, don't include it. It just makes the car heavier. Even the Volkswagen that preceded this, they said, why do you need a drive shaft? You don't need a drive shaft. Why do you need a radiator? Nobody needs a radiator. So put the engine in the back where you don't need a drive shaft. Get rid of the radiator, and you've got a car that is a lot simpler. And it's a little bit noisier, too, because there isn't that water jacketing to insulate the cylinders. But actually, that's part of the charm of a car like this, because you can hear a Porsche coming. You know what this car is. You know what to expect. When somebody sees an early version of a Porsche 911, like this 901, they can't help but be enthralled. that the DNA that started as early as 1963 remains in every Porsche today. Thank you everybody for watching. Be sure and hit the like button and subscribe.